Ohio judge, learns how things are run in Trump's America. The left is continually pushing that Islam is a religion of peace, but the number of terrorist attacks committed in the name of Allah tells an entirely different story. Over the last several years, radicalized Muslims have been entering countries around the world due to relaxed immigration policies. These Muslim terrorists have entered Western countries under the guise of being refugees in their attempt to set up their global caliphate. Their thirst for violence is well documented, and in the past, it has been allowed due to liberal policies. However, one Muslim terrorist learned that those days are in the past after he threatened an Ohio judge on sentencing day. Terrence McNeil, 24, was sentenced to 20 years in a federal prison for threatening members of the military and their families in the name of the Islamic State, a terrorist group also known as ISIS or ISIL. McNeil was arrested back in 2015 after he pledged his support to ISIS on several social media sites. A file that McNeil posted September 24, 2nd, 15th on his Tumblr page had a header that read Islamic State Hacking Division, followed by Target, United States Military and leak, addresses of 100 U.S. military personnel. These files were then locked together to play continuously and had text included that encouraged people to kill members of the military. Prosecutors read what this American-hating terrorist wrote out loud to the court: in their own lands, behead them in their own homes, stab them to death as they walk their streets thinking that they are safe. But, if anyone thought that McNeil felt any remorse for his actions, they are sorely mistaken. During the sentencing, McNeil felt that he was vindicated and that he would be rewarded handsomely in the afterlife for his sacrifice. McNeil then looked at the judge and uttered this chilling threat. Here is more from Cleveland.com. An Akron terrorism suspect sentenced to 20 years in federal prison on Wednesday threatened the judge who handed down the sentence. Terrence McNeil, 24, made the remarks to U.S. District Judge Dan Polster toward the end of a sentencing hearing on charges that he threatened members of the military and their families in the name of the Islamic State, a terrorist group also known as ISIS or ISIL. McNeil also said he would be rewarded in the afterlife. Nothing you did today even matters. Jihad will continue until the day of judgment, McNeil said. And that's a promise from Allah. It's not going to change. It's not going to stop. Neither of them are. My commission of Allah is not going to stop. So this is meaningless. I'll be rewarded for what I do. You'll be punished for what you do. I'm fine with that. You're fine with that. So we'll wait for the punishment of Allah to afflict you, either by himself or through the hands of the Muslims, and then we'll see. Inshallah. Polster responded, all right. Mr. McNeil, while I respect your opinion, I think you have confirmed the wisdom of my 20-year sentence. The FBI arrested McNeil in November 2015 after he used social media websites to profess his support for ISIS, prosecutors said. A file he posted September 24, 2015 on his Tumblr page had the header Islamic State Hacking Division, followed by Target, United States Military and leak, addresses of 100 U.S. military personnel. The file, first posted by someone else in March 2015, is a GIF, which allows multiple images to be looped. The text of the first file encouraged people who saw it to kill the military members in their own lands, behead them in their own homes, stab them to death as they walk their streets thinking that they are safe, prosecutors said. He also made similar postings on Twitter and Tumblr at least 2 other times. On Wednesday, McNeil began the sentencing hearing by refusing to stand when the judge entered the room, a customary sign of respect done in most court cases. Before his parting words, he only gave terse yes and no answers when the judge asked him questions. McNeil's social media accounts were filled with ISIL propaganda and statements such as "I can't wait for another 9/11, Boston bombing, or Sandy Hook," according to the government's sentencing memo. It hardly seems that 20 years is a good enough sentence for someone advocating death, but it is a start. U.S. District Judge Dan Polster could have caved to political correctness and let this heinous terrorist go, but he held his ground. Maybe if more judges around the country took these terrorist acts more seriously, there would be fewer crimes committed. It will take some time to right the ship that Barack Obama has tried to sink, but it can be done. Thankfully, now we have a true leader in President Trump, who is willing to take a tougher stance against radical Islam, and seems that others are too.